All right. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Hope you've had a good week. I think things are looking all good and we're ready to go. Great. Oh, color's a little off. I'm a little more red than usual. It's fine. Not a big deal. Um, yeah, hope everybody's had a good week. My week's been pretty good. A little bit busy trying to get things ready to go for a vacation after next week. So there'll be a stream on Monday and next Friday as well. But then it'll be a couple of weeks off from the stream. So if you're looking forward to that, be prepared for that. I've also trying to decide whether or not I want to try to push through to the end of Silksong, because I'm already like 40-ish hours in. I can't imagine that there's more than 10 more hours. So like maybe doing a bit of a marathon of streams next week is a thing I'm considering. Just so I don't lose the muscle memory from 2 weeks away, which is quite a lot in terms of playing that game. But I don't know. I don't know that I want to promise that because I have a lot of other stuff that I gotta get done for work. But we'll see. Anyway, for now, let's get started with the digital painting stream. Okay. And then, so, as always, if you have a suggestion for what you'd like to see me paint this week, feel free to drop it into the chat, and I will definitely consider that. As it stands, I'm pretty sure, without any other suggestions, I will be doing a painting of the great conch fly, because that's the boss that I ran into at the end of last stream. So I'm 100% going to be fighting it next stream. And I have I think a fun idea for hopefully an anime inspired pose for it. So I think that's probably going to be my default this week, is the great conchfly attacking Hornet in some way. But again, if anybody has any suggestions for things that they'd rather see me paint, I'm definitely open to it. Then, as always, let's start with taking a look at last week's art, critiquing it, and then figuring out what I want to bring forward this week. Well, do a little bit. What I want to work on this week, not necessarily bring forward from last week, because ideally I'm continuously improving and always getting a little bit better every time I do one of these. But let's start with, we can see everything. Everything's looking good. Yeah, great. So I will be working in the software Krita with a display tablet. So I have a little screen down here and a pen that I'm using to draw. Chat is on this screen, so I'm looking this way, despite the fact that it looks like I'm checking out the art. I'm looking at chat, and then up here is my reference image, which I will put up when it becomes relevant again. So let's take a look at last week's, actually this was 2 weeks of painting, so 4 hours on this piece, which I'm pretty happy with, all things considered. It looks good. It feels like we have a nice warm glow around here, which was definitely done by a overlay layer or a transparent layer that will change the colors. So ideally, I would like to be able to get to the point where I can pick the colors to not have to rely on that. But given that we're working in a digital medium, I have that luxury, so I don't have to worry about it as much. But that is something that I'd like to try to consider more going forward, just kind of choosing the colors as I go to do that, because I really like the lighting effect here in particular, how it goes from this darker blue to like a nice, like a almost a gray and orange on this side of things, but it just it gives a nice gradient here, which I think is missing from this. So like I would like ideally to have maybe a light here as well as like one that just kind of I got lucky with here. So keep in mind the light source for next time. Eventually picking out the correct colors as well at the beginning, because I got lucky with Vogue on this side here, because we have this nice line of like the light hitting the fur that is nice and warm in compared to the darker shadows over here, and that I managed to achieve without it being part of the fire. So like if I turn that off, you can still see that it's lit in much the same way as, whoops, that was the wrong one, as everybody else. So I was able to achieve, like, you can see that this is a nice harsher lighting situation going on here, whereas everybody else, this is a lot more subtle, really. But when I turn this on, it becomes a little bit better. So being able to achieve this effect over the whole thing, again, like consistently, is the goal, I think. But maybe not fully for today. Yeah, and then like I like the way that it kind of drops back into darkness. Again, artificially created with some shading, which is here. Yeah. So without it, it's fine, becomes a lot flatter, but with this turned on, it definitely feels like it's like a lot more depth to the painting, which I do, again, would like to be able to build in from the beginning. But overall, I'm quite happy with it. The last, I think, little critique that I have is I would like there to be a little bit more of a warm glow directly here. I'm not sure how I would achieve that per se, but like it doesn't quite feel like this is the thing that's emitting that warm glow that we see here. Like, whoops, oh dear. Wrong spot. So the warm glow that we see here doesn't feel like it's coming from this object necessarily, and so figuring out why that is and fixing that for next time I try to do a warm glowing object is something I'm going to try to focus on. But in particular in this case, I think I want to work on the colors and the depth of the scene. So we'll move over to starting a new painting this week. So let's start with doing some thumbnails. And I will say, one of the things I've been reading through the book, what are they called? Color and Light and Imaginative Realism by James Gurney. And he's one of my favorite contemporary artists. He wrote one of my favorite books, Dinotopia. Big fan of dinosaurs, and like the art that he's done for that is fantastic. And he has some very good practical advice. And the one that I wanted to implement today is that he was talking about doing some like thumbnail color studies as well before settling in on the color scheme for a given painting. So we're going to try that today. We're going to start with doing just the thumbnail sketch to get the layout, and then I'm going to play around with some very small color explorations to see what colors the scene should be. I do have the reference of the Conchfly and the Conchfly's arena, which, excuse me, let's enable that for you. So the Conchfly, the drilling action, and the arena. These are all things here. So I can use these as kind of ideas for the colors, but I'm not necessarily going to limit myself to those. But let's start with, I think, my first idea is going to be, go big screen. We'll do I think I want to have it so we have like the Honkfly is here doing the, oh, what's his body doing? Body's kind of that, doing the spinning drilling motion, like the wings. Wait. This way. Yeah, okay, so this is... And then like an anime vortex. Okay. And maybe Hornet here. Just to have something else in the corner. Wow. Why is... Oh dear. Maybe I should have warmed it up. I feel like it's going to be an art circle day. So that's kind of the general idea. That is not... That doesn't feel dramatic enough. Let's push the pose a bit. And we'll have it be... feel like it's really coming towards us. We want it to be angling down, so we have the spiral going here. Or is it better to have... No, I feel like it coming towards us is probably the best way to do it. Although, we have it aiming down this way, maybe. So that way we can do the spiral airstream getting bigger. And then, oh god, how do I do that offset? Goes here. And yes, we're doing an arc here, even though I know in the actual battle it's mostly just straight lines. I do feel it is more accurate to do. Okay, so this is the arc actually that I want it to follow. So if we just spiral here. We'll do some jump off here and then maybe some smoke or dust out that way. And oh man, that looks like a mess of lines for the most part. Okay, that's fine. We have, this is the top of the conch. Do a spiral here. This goes around this and here. And then the body is mostly going to be obscured. Let me follow with the pen just to be a little bit more clear about the outlines of things. So, oops. We have this here. That goes. No, that's not. Yeah, so we have the spin there, and then we have, go back to catching. Ooh, and then I think I maybe want to make that bigger so it pops off the screen, and then Hornet will have actively just jumping out of the way. Make her extra small to make it look super intimidating. Maybe, once again, shape her cloak like this to show that she's jumping. Yeah, I think that's probably... That feels... Whoopsies. Mostly correct. Okay, now let's try something entirely different. Give ourselves some more options. Be creative. So if we're doing the conch fly, what's the idea? We need to... We could do just like a looming pose, so it's just the conch fly. Here. No, we're gonna try that again. Much higher up in the frame. Oh. Again, we're adding Hornet because this is a combat-y thing. Yeah, and then I could add a couple more the little guys around as well. Which, I don't know that I've done that a couple of times now with a lot of the little characters. So I'm not opposed to that. I think it does look good. I think I like to push myself a little bit to do a different kind of style of one that hopefully I'll be able to do in the 2 hour that I set aside for myself to do this, as opposed to pushing it between a couple of weeks. And then I don't know. What's a fourth way to view it? We could do it coming up from the ground, maybe. That doesn't really feel like it's the like, I know that's what happens to it, but could we do a... No, I'm drawing a blank. All right. Well, if that's the case, then let's cut our losses there. and just kind of move on ahead, because I do like the idea of this one. I do think I want to redraw it as a before I start to paint it in. But let's go with this one. Oop. Grab this. Let's. I copied it to. Did that cut it to a new frame? No, it copied it. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice either addition to it or one that I hadn't seen before. But let's now. Grab this. Let's copy and paste it. Move it around, and let's do some. Oh. Let's do some color studies to try to figure out what colors I want to set for it. So we can. We don't need this many. Let's merge these layers. Oh, let's name them properly. Let's do sketch thumbnails. Call this paint nails. Let's mess around with some colors, see what we want to do. So first things first, let's go with the brush. We'll do actually a layer underneath that, and we'll group these together and call it paint thumbnails. Great. Okay. Now in the paint layer, let's start with the colors that we have in the arena, which is here. So we have kind of a very dark blue mostly, and some of the like maroonish red. I think it's not leaves, it's like rock, or I think they're calling it coral. So let's start with the dark blue. Let's start here with this one. Let's start with dark blue here. We'll go with a bit more red. Again, a maroonish color here for Conkfly. Do a bright red, oops, for Hornet. Bit of white for the Hornet's head. And then, I don't know, a bit of kind of grayish blue or grayish purple, I guess, because the ground is kind of that color for the spiral. If we go back to this maroonish, we bring it more vibrant and lighter. We do that feels a little too primary school, I think, in terms of coloring. we don't have a great value difference between the background and the foreground here. So let's try again. So if we grab this blue, if we stick with the same kind of idea and we just kind of go much darker and less saturated, let's try that for this second pass. What happened? Oh, well, okay. I don't know how I got a darker color there, but I like it. I think that helps quite a bit. And actually, if we also go for a bit more saturated of a maroon. No, again, maroon's going to be the main color, so green's not going to work. I want it to be complementary. Brown's kind of not correct either. Let's try to stick in this kind of range of the color wheel. Do just a little bit more purple. Grab this here. That's a bit too vibrant again. Saturate it. A bit dark. Right there. And then the maroon I think was okay, but now that everything is a little bit less colorful, do I want to also make this less colorful as well? Then we'll grab the original color again for the spiral. That's okay. And then we'll grab this one, and then we'll once again just ever so slightly the purple do spinning this direction, which means that we'll go this way actually. Oh, that's too dark. Lighter. That's not saturated enough for what I want. I'll do push. No, yeah, that's definitely not saturated enough. We'll do, how about this? Is this, it's too blue again. It's, what if we go just grab this once again? Is this the, no, it's again too purple. If we go back to the blue. Whoosh. Okay, now the values are too far off into this is too bright. Like it's too distracting to the eye. So we'll need to tone it down. So if we grab this again, darken it down quite a bit. It's too dark. I don't want it to be gray, because gray is too smoky, and I want it to be dusty. Alright, so if that's the case, I can't... I like this purplish color. I think that's nice. I think what I need to do then is we'll need to just increase the brightness of these to make it more vibrant. Get that one, and then we'll get here for the rest of it. No, it's too dark still. Do go up brighter, a little bit more red. Okay, so that brings it a little bit further up there, and then we can do a lot more highlights around here to really bring the eye up to this point. And then again, we'll grab Hornet here. I think because she's against the navy, she'll stand out a lot better. Kind of the idea. Which, yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. Then let's go with a very different vibe. We'll expand the range of colors we can use all the way out to this kind of more cyan thing, so we can get some like very strong contrast to Hornet's background, and we'll see if that looks better. Do this here. We'll lighten it up a little bit. Kind of around here. We'll once again grab some purplish color ground. If this looks good, we'll hide the drawings again. Actually, not yet. We'll grab the same maroon that we used here. And then the pure red for Hornet. And the white again for the head. And then if we grab another grayish color again. Okay, that's kind of fun. What if we darken this down again to a bit of a darker maroon? I'm just going to grab this to lighten the highlights. Alright, that's a bit of a different vibe to it. It feels not correct for the situation, but I don't dislike the color choices there. And I think the idea of that is fine. So let's then, just as a last experimentation, go the other direction, go with some kind of more orangey backgrounds, some more brownish, I guess, is the idea. Cool. Do more neutral brown. Let's again grab the same kind of colors. Excuse me, for the drill. Actually, before we do that, I need to... The brown is too light. We need to desaturate it again. There we go. I'll grab this and then we'll lighten it up every little bit. Maybe we'll give it some blue tones in the grays. Where would that be? That would be maybe like just a haze above the ground, perhaps. And the ground would be, once again, that dark purple, I guess. More of a purplish color, I guess. That's very blue compared to the background, so push that a little bit further. Grab the colors here once again. Start with that base. How that goes. Whoosh. Okay, so that's some very different color ideas I can work with. I think I am leaning towards the second one, the one that I spent the most time with, I think, as the basis for the colors for the painting. Just because I think that's the nicest, like, a little bit ominous color palette that I have played with. This one looks too green. Again, not upset with the color, it just doesn't feel right for the vibe of the location that it's in, so I'm going to not choose that one. This one could work, but I think I just improved on all of the color selection in this one, in general. So like playing around with the colors here, it's not quite right. And then once again here, it just feels like a different location. And the colors are fine, but they feel more, we'll call it like matter of fact in terms of the coloring, and doesn't give the right kind of darker atmosphere that I get from this one here. So yeah, we'll go with this one, I think. So if we do, no, that here, and if we, can I make this a new layer? Okay, great. Oh, I didn't want to grab the whole thing. Let's grab this. And that, if we take this one, scale it up. Okay. And then we're gonna actually just brush again. We're gonna sketch on top of this once more. Do a proper, ooh, wrong color. Okay. Give me back my blue, please. Do a proper sketch construction. Make sure that we get this correct. Because as I've been playing with this, it has gone more sideways and not less directly at us, which was the original idea. So Let's go with a... I want it to be like coming pretty much directly at the camera. So do is that the correct direction? I think so. Do spiral this way. Come to a head here. I think the idea. And then hornet here. Her cape will be going this way. Get out of the way. And then because it is spinning this direction, that means that the smoke cloud will this is the trajectory that it's going to be jumping at us from. So it will continue to spin around this way. Okay, and that's actually gone a weird angle, so it'll be this way. Around here like this. Okay. Great. Let's do that. Okay, so we have the, I guess, kind of more finalized sketch now. I actually want to, oops. Is the sketch layer? Okay. I want to move here, scale it up a bit more. And I think I want to make Hornet a little bit smaller, and we'll move her out of the way a little bit here. And then hopefully we'll be able to tell it's the conch fly in the painting process, but we'll see. Great. So let's get started with the actual painting part of it. Again, we'll call this rename our layers properly. So final sketch. Oh, I've had a couple of extra paint layers already. Great. Cool. So from here, Deselect all, get my brush. We'll grab the background color. And then we'll paint the background. I should rename this to background. We'll grab a bunch of the different colors that I've used there. Make sure that we have it all covered up. And then the last thing that I had was there was a bit of color variation in there. So, oh, there's a lighter color too that I missed. Nope, not that color. Darkest colors at the edges, and then it gets a little bit lighter towards the center for the most part. But I do want to make sure that there's enough contrast between the background and the subject. And then we'll do a foreground, because I think I had a nice, like, vibrant ground plane. So we'll do and like this. I miss a foreground. Good enough. Cool, and then let's take a look at, actually there should be up here. We'll grab the base color of the, let's actually grab the base color of the dust first, because that's going to be behind the conch fly. We'll grab a new layer. Rename this as we're going. This will be dust spiral. And then we'll do here. Paint layer again. Oh, actually, it's going to be a couple of layers of the dust spiral because we need the background one. Need the foreground one, and then we're going to need the one on top of the conch fly as it is. A bit of the foreground dust here. And it goes here. Background this way. This one goes this way, right? Because this is, yeah. Here. Also, these should be further out because it has been some time since it has traveled through here. Right, so cross this way, and then this one picks up back here. Grab this one here. Spins around. Oh, goodness. Why did I give myself the challenge of doing a three-dimensional spiral? That is curving. This is fully breaking my brain right now. That's... you know what? Okay, the expanding thing of it is just not going to happen because that I can't process that in my brain right now. I also didn't lay it out that way, so it's going to screw things up a little bit, I think. This goes up here. And we grab the color again, and it goes down here. So it's coming off of the shell here. And we can do a little bit of an extra one. Okay. Yeah. That seems correct enough. Do I want to add another spiral in here? I think maybe. Do another one back here. That will then kind of circle its way in here. Oh, is this... No, because that... Yeah. All right. Well, that's fine. We'll start with that. I'll fix it up as we go. Back to colors. We'll grab the base maroon color here for the conch fly. We'll add that in. Try to keep the brushstrokes moving in the direction of the texture, which I imagine is just around the edges. And now let's once again go back here, grab some of the highlight colors, and we'll do that. So the highlight will just go around on the actual spiral itself. Try to make it show that it's sharp edge, so it'll protrude a little bit with the bright colors. They all actually overlap here, so that's kind of fine. Bring this up a little bit. This just has to curve up a little bit more. Okay, that is good, I think. Oops. Oops. Undo all of that. And then I need to... Is it just general light popping in off of things? I think that's how I did it before. We'll grab the hot pink there. We'll just add like a very fine line, just picking out the absolute edge of the conch, the spiral. Am I going with just some lighting from above? Is that... I think that's the case. I think that's what I want to do. Okay, I think that feels kind of correct. Let's now start adding in some shading. So we'll go back to the darkest color. We'll just saturate it and darken it just a touch. I think that might be too much. Yeah, that is too much. Start again. Darken it just a touch. Give us some lower side shading here. just to really sell that these are three-dimensional shapes on the shell. And I want to shade underneath as well because it's not getting as much light. Okay. And then if we do the line of the cone, should be here, I think is the boundary. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Do the same thing with this color here. This, and then we'll just do ever so slightly down to the right for it to be darker. Do the same thing. Kind of make sure we shade the parts that are a little less in the light. And then the underside here as well. All of this should be ever so slightly darker. We'll leave some of the, like, picks up some highlights there. I don't mind a little bit of the original color coming through. It'll give us a bit more interest in colors. And then, how do we... Oh, hey, Brasly, how's it going? Hope you've had a good... I guess it's been a couple weeks since you've dropped by to actually say hi, so I don't know if you've been in chat for a while. So, we're doing the Conchfly attacking Hornet this week. And then I'm going to need a little bit of a lighter variation, I think. I want to show that the shell is a bit rough. I don't want, like, too much of a lighter color, per se. That just looks like dots. I need to be a little bit more random with it, I think. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Let's do, yeah, I think I want to be a little bit more deliberate about, like, the line on which the light would be hitting the shell, so it's not just them everywhere, it's really just in certain locations. So around here, like so. I'll do a couple more up here. Yeah, okay, that looks a little bit better. A little bit more variation to the shell. Pretty good. I do think I want to... nope. Grab the pen again. Really want to make sure that this is like a sharp line here. Really show how like dangerous it is. We'll bring it up much more towards... Oops. Rotate it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good as the shell. And then the way I have oriented this, there's no way you'd be able to see the body of the conch fly, so it's not really much else I can draw for that to show that's what it is. So kind of hopefully people know the fight or know what I'm referencing, so that's would be ideal. Then back to brush. We'll do another layer of the effects. So we'll do like, oops, where's my resize the brush? We'll do this is spinning off of the... Excuse me. We'll reduce the opacity of this, maybe. And then we'll follow the same language here, so this one will be a bit of a darker color. And I'll actually have it go behind here. And then we'll do another one that is... Oh god, okay. Offset, so it's this way, I think is the... way to do it. Grab it this one here, and then it goes behind up here. Okay. Oops. Erase a little bit. Oops, 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 oops. This is fully on the wrong layer. Let's undo all of that. This we can redo and then undo that. Okay, perfect. So that's what I can control a little bit of the opacity we want, but yeah, okay, so that's Feels like it's spiraling off, which is fine. The dust spiral looks like it's the wrong size now, so if we just whoop, not rotate, brush out and move, that feel like it's more not quite. Okay, so this undo all of this. The issue here is that this has gone very sideways now. I can see that pretty clearly. So we come back to here, go back to my brush, I'll hide this out of the way. This has gone, oops, far too upright, and instead should be much more this way and this way. So we have a couple of background spirals coming up. Actually, it should be here, here. They're very circular. Grab that. Circular here. Comes around. Comes in. Goes around again. Up and then. Okay. This is in front of that. Okay. That feels a little bit better. Do you think this one needs to... Here... Okay, and then we'll do lighter gray, the edges here. Here. Okay, does that look slightly better? It is, I think, still too bright now that I'm looking at it with everything else again. I think everything needs to just be a little bit... Do I want to reduce the opacity? Not really. But we can, I think, just darken it down and desaturate it just a teensy bit. Is this? Yeah. So we'll do this. We'll kind of remove some of the vibrancy from it. Take it back, not from that side, because this one also needs to be affected by the light, so you need a little bit of shading here as well. Even though it is just smoke and dust, it is affected by the light, so I think that's part of the issue. Here we'll grab this one, and then we will also go a little bit darker as well. Whoop, I didn't mean to desaturate it quite that much. Up this. Actually want to saturate it a little bit more, I think. Yeah. Around, and then this one, go back here. Wait, what's happening? What's going on? This one goes here. Then... Oh, no, it goes up this way. Not bad. So it goes up here. Around and then up here. This one down in front of it here. Means that the shading needs to be down here this way to show that it is a different loop. So it goes this way. We got the light up here, down here, dark goes here. Yeah, okay. Oops. Hey. Okay, that is good enough for now. I need to not spend too much time on that because I still have to do Hornet, and I only have about 40 minutes left. So we'll leave that there for now. Let's double check how things are looking with the original. Color-wise, it's looking pretty similar. I did have a lot more smoke at the from the jump at the bottom here, so I might want to loosen this up and not make it quite such a tight spiral. But again, that'll be a slightly down the road adjustment to make. So then the last thing to do is we need to add Hornet here. So we'll give ourselves another layer. Oh, I haven't been naming layers. That could be a problem. Do Hornet. We'll give her head and body separate layers just so I can have a little bit of freedom in terms of when I am painting the shading on it. I don't have to worry about it quite so much. Do the head first. And then we'll give Hornet Hornet body, which will essentially just be the cloak, right? Bright red. And then we'll group these together so I can move them as a layer if I want to, which currently I do. If we're further out here for the sketch. Yeah, honestly, I think just as a general composition, I'm quite happy with that. So let's go back to the body. Let's fill it in nicely. And then let's go from here and we'll do some shading to it. Because again, we're assuming just a general overhead light. Do little bit here. We'll leave a little bit. We're actually going to lock the transparency as well, so I can go straight up to the edge if I want to. Do a little bit of a rim light there. But we'll make sure that we color most of it the darker color. And we'll do a little bit here. Just gonna a little bit there. Do of shading in here. Cloak is flapping around a little bit. That's some interesting shapes. I think that's some interesting shapes. So if we zoom out, oh no, zoom out. I think that's, oh, there we go. You can see it all now. I think that feels pretty good in terms of interesting shapes for Hornet's cloak. I need to, I think what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more texture to it. So if we just tone it ever so slightly. Just do a little bit of blending so it's not quite such a sharp transition to the shadow. Actually, sharp transition there is fine. I think back out of the shadow into the highlights of the cloak is where I want to blend it just a little bit. There's a, do just a little bit of like a, whoopsies, lighter bit there. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, now the head. Okay, let's grab this again. Let's make sure the shape is looking correct. She's got a nice pointy, are they horns? We'll call them horns. We'll do this. It's great. And then because the background is kind of a darker color, we'll give her a... you know what, actually? Grab this one. We'll do just a little bit lighter as the shading, which will lock the transparency again there too. So she'll have a bit of a... Oh, that's... I think that's too dark. Yeah, too dark for sure. We'll keep it here for the like ambient occlusion as well, but I definitely want to lighten it up quite a bit for the rest of the shadows on her head. Once again, let's... Transparency is locked, so I don't have to worry, be as careful with this. So we'll do that, and then we'll grab the white again, and then we'll just, again, a little bit of a rim light thing going on there. Give her some... Oops, I didn't mean to erase that. Again. All right, okay, so that's... I think that's looking quite good for Hornet. I think we're going to leave that there because that's very bright. It's very much the subject of the art, which... let me center that for you a little bit. Which is good, so my eyes are very much drawn to it. In this view, I'm missing some more of the highlights on the smoke and the rest of the conch shell there, just because there's very bright highlights on rim lighting for Hornet, and it's not reflected in the rest of the piece. So we're going to spend some time correcting that a little bit. So we're here. Let me take the pen. We'll grab... I don't want it to be quite like bright white. But we'll do nice like highlights in purple, I think. So we'll do some actually, now to think about it, where would the... I take it back. I don't want the pen. We're gonna go with the brush. We'll do... we'll also lock the transparency here because I do like the shape of it. I just want a little bit brighter highlights on it. Now let's get rid of the transparency lock, and let's just try to make it a little bit less of a sharp edge on the outside. Or less of a sharp edge altogether, because it is supposed to be just dust in the air. Ooh. Oops. Not mean to erase that part. Yes. Okay. Keep it relatively smooth on the. Oh, I'm painting on the wrong layer. That's why it's not erasing. Okay, let's undo. Okay, that's fine. So we're here. Okay. So what is going on here? This should be in the shade. There shouldn't be any light on it really. So let's adjust that. So lock transparency again because I just want to change the color. This is here. Grab this purple. The actual shading here. There shouldn't be any light hitting it really at this point. Okay, that is feeling better. Now let's go for the dust spiral again. Oh, nope. Did not mean to change scenes. Again, change the colors here so that it's in the light and we're getting some nice colored highlights there. Okay. Color-wise, I think that looks good and relatively consistent. I just need to loosen up the outlines a little bit, make it more smoky or dusty, I guess is the actual term I'm looking for. mostly good. Get that. Need to do here as well. Really sell it. Okay, now I need to at the inside here. Whoops. Unlock the transparency so I can just change the colors. Do rough on this side. Keep it nice and tidy and then okay, this side isn't quite. Okay, I do like that. We'll take this one, and I do think I want to shift it just ever so slightly this way. Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking how that looks. Okay, great. So we have pretty good here. Let's do a couple of like finishing touches for the lighting effects. So give myself another layer that will go probably just on top of the background. Let's grab a gradient. Make sure it is not too light, but a little bit lighter and a little bit more blue, I think. Do a screen. Too much. Too blue. Okay. Too light. We'll do... you know what? Actually, I changed my mind. We don't want a gradient. We're going to go for the brush, the airbrush. Let's do a bit of a glow coming from above to really sell the fact that there's light coming from up here. That looks great. And then the last thing that I want to do is we're going to add a bit of a vignette, I think. Grab these colors, make sure it's a little bit darker, and actually just black airbrush. Oh, make sure it's above the foreground. Kind of. Actually, this will be right in front of everything. Just darken the corners just a little bit on the bottom, just to make sure that the eyes really lean up towards the top. And I think that's actually pretty good. Let's go full screen. Get rid of the reference. Is there any last things that I want to do here? Not terribly. Like the eye is drawn to Hornet. She's being attacked by a... I feel like the spiral is pretty clear. Like it's in motion, it's in action. Whether or not you can tell that it's the boss, that's maybe a little bit debatable. But I think we're pretty good. I think maybe actually the last thing that I want to do is in the background. If we grab the brush, we'll grab some of the darker purple, and we'll just add a little bit of some of the color around. Oops. In the that's the foreground. Well, take it back. I do like the foreground there. I'll do a little bit of here. Go to the background again. Go from here. We'll just make it a little bit darker and desaturated. Grab brush. It's not desaturated or dark enough. That's good. I really want the smoke to be clear. Oops. Sorry, to stand out from the background. Okay, that's fine. I'm not super happy with... oh, I can't erase it now. Darn. Fine. There, that's probably good. I just feel like I'm messing around with it a little bit too much. Okay, I like it here. I don't like it here. This is muddying up the things a little bit too much. Actually, if I just undo everything, that should probably fix it, yeah? Yeah, okay, that's actually kind of nice. Oh, wrong brush. This up a little bit. Well, that's a little bit of variation in the color here as well. But okay. Oh, this is, I'm painting on the background again. Dang it. Undo all of that. Foreground, thank you. There we go. That's nicer. And then we'll do, again, just a little bit of variation. Great, okay. And I think that's going to be it for the day. I think, quite happy with how that turned out. Go full screen. Move myself off to the side. Out of the way. Yeah, there we go. So this is the Hornet against the Raging Conchfly fight. Again, not sure if it actually comes through as that's what it is, but that's what I was able to do in about 2 hours. Quite happy with it. I'm very happy actually with the new workflow of doing both a sketch as well as like a rough colors from this. So just as a reminder, if you arrived a little bit late, we also have oh goodness, I have to hide all these things. I can just hide the group. Yeah, that's right. So I did a rough thumbnail sketch. Sorry, a series of thumbnail sketches to figure out the kind of shape of the design that I'd like. And I did some painting. There we go. Some painted thumbnails to figure out the color design that I liked, and I ended up choosing this one down here, and then I just kind of went from there. I scaled it up, then I sketched how I actually wanted it to look as a large size, and then basically I just painted from there. And I do, again, quite like the way that it turned out. It feels a little bit more underwatery than maybe I wanted, but all in all, I'm quite happy with that and the workflow. So, yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with me as I keep trying to improve my digital painting skills. I will be back on Monday morning, continuing my playthrough of Hollowknight Silksong. And we'll start with the Conchfly boss, I'm sure. Yeah, so Monday morning at 9:30, be playing the game. Next Friday, we'll be doing another digital painting stream. And then I will be off for a couple of weeks on vacation with my wife. And then we'll be back again after that. I will probably put up some announcements, notification, and posts and all that good stuff on YouTube, so you can keep track of that. Yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will hopefully see you on Monday. Take care of yourselves.